K'tles7et'h Bay and K'tles7et'h Sound represent a unique region of Vancouver Island. This area is well known for its biodiversity and number of protected areas, covering everything from rugged alpine to windswept coastlines. They are within the traditional territories of the K'tles7et'h First Nations and have a long history of use and contain cultural heritage values. Visitors can enjoy numerous recreational opportunities in these wilderness settings that include hiking, kayaking, camping, fishing, and wildlife viewing. Altogether, there are 11 protected areas throughout the region, which include 6 parks, 4 ecological reserves, and 1 protected area. The First Nations of K'tles7et'h Sound and K'tles7et'h Bay have lived in this region for thousands of years. There are extensive cultural heritage sites and archaeological features throughout our traditional territory. These include former village sites and trails, hunting and fishing grounds, and gathering areas for food, medicines, and other materials ranging from clothing to housing.
Yeah, we got lucky where the trail is cut.
Visitors to the protected areas may encounter evidence of cultural uses of resources. Culturally modified trees, including cedar bark stripping, carved wooden faces in trees, and trail markers have been found in the area.
And back in the day, like there was probably, 40, 50 meter tall totem poles, and I mean, just to fall that and bring it possibly 800 meters to the beach. And there's other areas where they go up rivers and travel longer and hike up mountains. Pretty amazing where they went.
Work to identify these cultural sites and uses is ongoing so they can be considered in protected area management.
There's notch trees, carved out ones, a test hole, there's the bark strip. So we're at a western red cedar. That's our live plank tree. It was potentially like one whole plank, and they used it for big houses, right? So they'd climb up there and then set a wedge up there on top. And over time, the wedge would keep sinking down. And this is like possibly before 1880, so it's a historic heritage tree. So obviously one of the ones we're not gonna cut down ever. Yeah, boom. Another beauty find in our area. Just west of where our carving shed's gonna be. As you could hear, our clearing site, it's canoe-shaped serving table. Nice shapely canoe. It was more covered in when we first found it, and we just uncovered it just to, be sure we're seeing what we were seeing. And this is the shape of a canoe. Nice artifact to find. Not very many get out to see it, and it's just would be nice to share because most places don't share. You could see our culturally modified trees, and be amazed yourself.
We walked around our territories with BC Parks out here. We put markers on a map, and red is go home. Yellow is you can look. Green is walk around anywhere you want. But it's been fun learning with them. They've got information that I haven't heard. But when you're up here, it feels like you got one foot in heaven.
Tourism is, I think, only going to grow in this region, and having that relationship where their first point of contact for tourists is BC Parks, to know what the park use is in our area, what they can do. And Parks also lets them know that they do have to check in at our office here, and that's because our winds are really strong and our weather changes very quickly. So it's important for tourists to check in at our nation. We're a remote community, so that we know where they're going, and if there's any kind of trouble, that we can know where to look. I would say to people coming to visit, welcome. We really appreciate you wanting to learn about us and the territory that we live in and have loved for millennium, and to just be very respectful, and whatever you bring in, you bring out, and just make sure that the next people who come to visit are experiencing the same pristine wilderness that you came here to see.